What's up, YouTube? Thrift Hunter here with this week's estate sale finds. Not a whole lot in quantity this week, but a whole lot of quality, so we'll take that. The week was going pretty slow until I found these three pens, which we'll go over last. I think this deal kind of saved the week. Otherwise, I just had this stuff, which wasn't too bad. But we'll go ahead and get started and show you what we found. So like here's another one of these little Zuni inlay brooch pins that last week I got an owl. This week I've got a turtle. These are pretty common. You do see these, but this one was $5. So it's marked 8. I got it for 5, and it's in good condition. And it also has a signature on the back there. So the ones that are signed, not necessarily worth a lot more, but are definitely going to sell faster. And it's got the pendant loop too that someone added, so that's pretty cool. Nice little pin there. And then I bought this little enamel box. This kind of just caught my attention. Just stood out to me in the jewelry case, and it was $20. And it's just all red enamel, and it's just kind of like a little trinket box. It's only marked 30 on the inside there, which is probably usually like the volume or the weight of what it would carry in here or something like that. Is usually when they're marked like that. You usually see that on silver plate. This is brass. It looks like there was probably a mirror in here at one point. That's gone now, but I just know that enamel sells well, and red enamel especially is really nice. This kind of looks like almost a reproduction, like Cartier box or a Fabergé box or something like that. It's got that kind of feel to it to me, but it's more of like a reproduction of one of those. But this looks old, not extremely old, but maybe, I don't know, early 1900s, 1920s maybe. So for $20, I just know small trinket boxes like this can sell pretty well. Here's a piece that I'm pretty excited about that I think is really nice. I don't really know anything about it yet, but you can see it's got all stone inlay here. It's like white marble, and then I guess this would be amethyst or potentially lapis. And then it's got some mother of pearl, and then I forget the name of the pink stone here. And it's set in this frame with the top pendant loop missing. You can see where the top pendant loop would have been, and then it's got this riveted or screwed on pin back. This is like a newer pin back, and then it's set on this black base that the inlay is attached to. So it's an interesting piece. I have to test it to see if this border here is sterling, because it kind of looks like sterling. There's no markings on this piece, so I got it for $5. But you can just see the quality there. This is definitely a designer piece. I'm going to do more research to find out what designer this is. I know for sure I've seen this figure before. I was getting a Lee Stein vibe to it, which is one designer that does stuff in this kind of style, but usually that stuff's all lucite or plastic, where this is stone inlay with possibly sterling. So really interesting piece. To value it just off the top of my head, this could be in the range of like $50 to $100 potentially, and it could go up from there if there is like a really good designer name attached to it. And then I bought this piece, which is just an older Texaco Mexico piece with the kind of crushed up stone inlay on it, and then it's got the scorpion sign and the two crabs here, I guess Scorpio and Cancer. I kind of wasn't sure because they're not really a matched set, I would call it, because it's not all scorpions or all crabs, but they do go together sort of, and it was just a good quality piece, sterling, with the pendant loop there, and this set was $30. And I just thought that was a pretty good price for the brooch and the earrings. You know, it's not just for the one piece, like just the earrings or just the brooch. So I picked up those, and I thought it was a pretty neat piece. I'll do more research on it. I was able to find some like big necklaces with this kind of stone crushed inlay. Not a whole lot of these pendants and earrings. So we'll see. Value wise, probably in the like $50 to $60 range. I don't think it's really expensive, but for $30, I just thought it was a good deal to pick up. All right, so here's where the quality starts getting a little bit better, I think. Two watches that I bought, really nice watches, both not working. So some estate sales, if the watch isn't working, they give a very good discount on it. I have no problem with watches that aren't working. Most of these watches are fairly easy to repair. I mean, I get it, you need like a watch person to repair it, but when I go to the flea market, there's probably 10 booths of people that fix watches, and so you can go to certain jewelers that know watches that can fix these, and it really doesn't take a lot to get them running. So I don't mind buying non-working watches. I actually buy a lot of them. Here is a Bulova 30 jewel self-winding watch that's not running, but it's just got a really nice dial, really nice look to it. Obviously the crystal's a bit scratched up, but it's, high jewel count. It's an automatic. This was $30. So for that price, it's not a home run, but it's not a bad deal either. So I think this Bulova 30 jewel is worth somewhere in the I don't know, maybe 50, $60. I know running they're about 100, some of them a little bit more. So I picked this one up. I just thought it was a really nice Bulova, and it should sell. I have no issues with that. The one that was really good was this one, which is a Longines watch. So a couple of things on this one going for it. Longines is a very good name, first of all. Second, it's got a really nice looking dial. I think that was what stood out to me right away, is it's got this nice clean salmon colored dial, and it's not too dirty for a watch this old. So this is a 1940s watch, and then it's got the kind of the design of the case here, where it's this longer kind of tank style case, is very popular like dress watch style. So again, not running, but again, it was $30. So for $30 on a Longines of this era in a gold filled case is pretty good. I think this watch is worth somewhere in the $75 to $100 range. It's marked right there, gold filled. And I'm not sure if it's 14 or 10. I think it's 14 gold filled. And I've cleaned up the case a little bit. It was kind of all black, and I've cleaned it up a bit just to make it look nicer for when I list it. Obviously, someone will probably restore this piece, I would think. So I did clean it up with my Simple Shine jewelry cleaning cloth, which you can see I've used a lot of. And then I also used some of the premium cleaning wipes. So if you want either of those, I'll have a link in the description below for some jewelry cleaning products. And this watch in running restored condition can bring about $200. So I think this will be a very easy one to sell. Just that salmon dial, it just looks really nice on this tank style watch, and all the gold fill is in really good condition. There's no wear through spots. That's a really nice watch there. Next up, I got a few gold pieces. Gold's really hard to buy. I mean, like I've said in the other videos, no one's giving it away. So I just picked out a few pieces that I thought I could get a decent deal on. So this one is marked 14 karat, and it's also got this engraving on the inside here. This is the 14th degree mason ring, and this is the Scottish Rite. I don't have the exact translation. It's pretty easy to look up, but it's got this whole engraving on there. It's got a maker's name, 14 karat, and then it's also personalized, where it's got someone's name, and then it's also dated 1942. It's gonna be kind of hard to show you, but it says 1942 in there. Yeah, I picked this up for scrap price. I mean, we weighed it, we did the calculation. So this was $140. It's exactly the gold value. So I bought this thinking, I should be able to get a little bit more for it. We'll see. There are some sold listings I was able to look up before I bought it that were showing this selling in around the 200 to 250 range. So we're going to shoot for something in there on that piece. And then here's a gold and diamond piece. I noticed this in the estate sale that I've seen this piece before. I told them, I was like, you guys have had this piece for a long time. They probably had this piece for about 6 months in their case and they never sold it. So she was like, oh yeah, we've had this for a long time. It's time for it to go. You want to make us an offer? And I just said, oh, how much does it weigh? And we weighed it and it was about $99 in gold. I was like, I'll give you $100 for it. And she was like, yeah, sure, $100, no problem. So I thought that was a good deal for a nice designer pendant with diamonds on it. And there's about 28 or 30 diamonds in here. So there is a little bit of a carat weight in diamonds. And then it is marked. It's marked 14 karat and Israel. And it's got a maker's mark on the back. And it's about 3.5 grams. You can wear it as a pendant through this loop here. So I put, I'm not sure what I put on this. I think $300 on it just because of the diamonds. But, you know, if I can get $200 for it or, you know, somewhere where I'm making a good profit, then I'll be happy with this piece. Just like the quality of it. I tried to buy this like, you know, the 6 months ago when they had it originally. I tried to buy it from them because I liked the look of it. But they were too expensive. So sometimes it pays just to wait with these estate sale companies. They'll have the same pieces for a long time, and then eventually they'll give you a better price. All right, so here's the pens that kind of saved the estate sales this week. I saw these in the case. I went to this sale really late. This was the last sale I went to. It was probably about 12 o'clock in the afternoon after I'd been at sales all morning. And I saw these pens in the case. I was kind of interested in them. They were marked like $45 each. And I was like, oh, those are neat. And then I noticed on the clip here, they're marked Cross. So Cross is a pretty famous company. I mean, you guys know Cross pens. Cross pens are everywhere. So I decided, okay, I'll look those up on my phone. And I was able to find the model. It was the Townsend. So I was like, okay. So I started looking up the Cross Townsend. I was able to see a lot of just in black, and they were selling for about, I don't know, anywhere from like $50 to $100 new with the box and everything. So I was like, okay, so she's, you know, got these marked at about what they're worth, just going off of that one. And then I looked at some other ones, and they were going for a little bit more. Some of them were $250. I was like, okay, these look like a good enough deal for what they are. They're good quality. I felt the pens. They're heavy. And then I just asked, I was like, you know, what's the best you can do on these 3 pens if I take all 3? And she was just like, $20 each. And I was like, yeah, that's perfect. I mean, that was way less than I expected. And then I got these home and started doing some research on these, and I couldn't find them. I could find this one. This is a green marbled one. I know it's kind of showing up black. We'll show it closer in a second. I could find that one. I could find them selling anywhere from like $100 to $150, but I couldn't find these two. And then I eventually found them by looking this one up. This one looked like lapis. I was like, oh, well, kind of looks up lapis like lapis. So I put in, you know, Cross Townsend lapis. And I started seeing some selling in the $400, $500, $600 range for that one pen. And then I did some more research and found out that these 2 pens are basically the highest end, rarest Cross Townsend pens of this year, which is about 1996 or so when these came out. And I guess these are the ones that were really expensive brand new. These were about $350 each when they were new. So I was pretty happy with that, and then I started looking more closely and trying to find out exactly what they were. And so these ones, if I take off the cap here, these ones are a rollerball pen. So there's a ballpoint pen and then there's a rollerball pen. This rollerball has this little edge here, and then the point is kind of a little bit longer, and it's a little different than a ballpoint, which this whole thing would be a little bit smaller and just come all the way up to the point completely smooth without this little ridge that holds the cap on. So I tried to find some of this in the rollerball, and I was unable to find any with the rollerball. I could find the ballpoints and I could find the fountain pen, but it was very difficult to find the rollerball pen. But just based off of the ballpoint pens and the fountain pens, these two are worth anywhere from $300 to like $600 each. These two. And why they're so expensive is this is crushed up jade and gold, and this is crushed up lapis and gold. So they take the gemstone, they crush it up fine, they add gold to it, which looks like little kind of Alaskan gold, little flakes, and then they lacquer it and then roll it around this brass case. So they discontinued making these because it was a very expensive process to make these. And so that's those two. And then this one's just the marble one, which I guess is a little bit more common. And again, it's the rollerball pen, which is a little bit larger. And a little bit, it's a very heavy pen, but there's the marbled one. I saw one of the fountain pen, new in box, selling for $350. But then I saw a ballpoint selling for about $100, and I think this is kind of, the roller balls are in between. So we'll see how much I can get for the set of these. But the cheapest one online, again, you can't find exactly the roller balls, but you can find ballpoints and fountains, which these you can actually switch out the tip for a fountain, and these will unscrew. I'll show you one of them here. So this tip you can actually change out and put a fountain tip on it if you wanted to. I guess these were sold, I couldn't tell if they were sold with both or just if these were just sold as the one. But yeah, this is what saved my estate finds this week. I think I'm going to ask, I'll put all three of these up probably together in a lot and ask about $1,000, which I think is actually a pretty good deal for these. These are selling or asking prices about $600 each, and then this one could be about $200. So there may be, a top end like asking price would be about $1,400 on these. But there are some that sold for less. Like I saw one of these sell for like $375. So if you figure that, it's about $800. But either way, I spent $60 on the three of these. And I'm very happy that they turned out to be really rare, and I just got kind of lucky, and they're really nice pens. So yeah, if you like this video, please leave a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.